Hey everybody, I'm Seth and I am the co-owner of Living Nutz along with my brother Davey, the highest quality, best tasting sprouted nuts and seeds in North America. And today I'm going to talk about an issue that Living Nutz had. We're now in almost our 17th year, and in 2007 we hit a road bump that almost shut our company down. And it's a very important road bump. It's a very important topic because what it represents is the diminishing food freedom laws that were once enacted to protect us are now disappearing. They're being taken away. And I want to talk a little bit about what we at Living Nutz had to do as a result of all this because it's very fascinating and it speaks to how a small company like us can evolve and transform and roll with the punches. So this is essentially what happened. We were selling almonds. Almonds was our primary form of business. We were selling a lot of almonds. We germinate, flavor, and dehydrate them, which is essentially the sprouting process. And it was a big part of our business of selling raw food, snacks, and treats. And then one day, out of nowhere, we get contacted by officials in California who told us that, hey, guess what? You guys are selling unprocessed, unpasteurized almonds, and you can no longer do that because the FDA, in conjunction with the Almond Board of California, had just passed a mandate stating that all almonds grown in the United States now have to be pasteurized. And we were like, wait, what? What did you say? Really affected us. So essentially, they were like, yeah, they're pasteurized, and we were like, why? What happened? This is what happened. They said that they were infected by salmonella, and that they were infected by salmonella. It was an isolated incident from stockpiling, which, if you haven't heard of this before, stockpiling is essentially a term that is used in factory farming, where big companies who are producing massive amounts of whatever it may be, agriculture or consumable goods in whatever form, they don't have the care or necessarily the foresight to really be a lot more mindful of how things are processed. It's big business, big agriculture. They're just doing things on a big level, and it's get the job done kind of thing. And what happened was they took a bunch of almonds. They were placed near turkey droppings, turkey dung, and apparently the turkey dung, the bacteria from that affected the almonds, caused a little bit of salmonella and some other stuff to get into it, and consumers got sick. Now, this is a big problem, it is a big deal, but it was an isolated incident. This wasn't like happening to everywhere, to everybody all over the place. It happened one time. And so the FDA, in conjunction with the Almond Board of California, used this as an excuse to pass this mandate declaring that all almonds in the United States had to be pasteurized. Again, we are a small raw food snack company. Almonds were the bulk of our business, and our customers, once word spread about this, were very concerned. And we were very concerned because they did not want to buy pasteurized almonds. And the methods that the Almond Board wanted everybody, or the FDA wanted everybody to pasteurize their almonds, were pretty insane. One of them was chemical fumigation. That was one of the ways they wanted almond processors to process their almonds. The other one was boiling. They had a few different methods of doing this. None of them were acceptable to us at the time. Now, there are some farmers in California who I've heard that are doing it correctly and they're able to do this. We don't work with them anymore because it was a little too high profile for us and it was just too much of a risk for us to get involved with, and still now. So what we did was the only thing that we could do was we started importing all of our almonds from Italy and Spain. And this was the only way that we could get unpasteurized almonds into the country without any treatment at all. And we have been doing that since 2007. and are not, they're amazing. It's an amazing product, and they're actually closer to the original heirloom variety of almonds that almonds stem from. But more on that later. I'll get into that in another episode. But the other thing we did was this, is when this mandate was passed, we teamed up with Natural News, our friend Mike Adams over there, the Organic Consumers Association, a great organization, and a bunch of other organizations got together and we created a petition, and we just hammered it. We got, I can't remember how many signatures exactly, but it was thousands, like 40 or 50,000 signatures. And we really just did everything in our power to wake people up and really, get people paying attention to how important issues like this are, because almonds is one thing. They've done it to raw milk, they've done it to a lot of different things across the board, and this will continue to happen. So people need to be aware of these issues and work hard to prevent them from happening. So we made this petition, we sent it to a lot of government agencies, we did everything in our power to try to reverse this, to appeal to this and try to reverse the decision that they made, to no avail. So I wanted to talk about this and explain a little bit about what happened to our company, because again, it's interesting and it serves a very valid point for people, which is pay more attention to your food freedom laws. And these food freedom laws are, especially in the United States, they're going to be different at a state level and a federal level. And it's very important to be aware of what they are in your state and what the federal government is doing, including anywhere in the world you live too. Some states and countries are a lot more liberal and a lot more open-minded and progressive thinking and more aware, more conscious and more caring, and realize that, this is important, our food is important. And then there's other places that they just don't care. They're looking out for big agriculture, big pharmaceutical, big business. They want to make their money. Not a good choice. Not a good choice, especially if you're thinking of how to create a better world. But we care. If you're listening to this, most likely you care. And the more we, as small business owners and health conscious consumers, are aware of these issues and talk about them, and not in a us against them kind of way, but in a way that's more conscious, more aware, more caring, then I believe, I have faith in humankind that we can influence big companies and government agencies and everybody to eventually form a better way, because there's a lot of conscious people, there's a lot of caring people who work in government, who work in big companies that don't necessarily agree with these top-down policies. So change is something that can be implemented over time, and that's what Living Nutz and our efforts represent. Hope you enjoyed this video. Next week I'm going to get into more about almonds and what we did and what the original heirloom variety of almonds are actually more like. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.